OKC Durant podcast. I'm Garrett.
I'm Sarah, and today we have Will and Alisa Sandmann sitting in as our guests.
Welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
My mic. So we're going to continue on in our Friends and Family series, where last week we looked at friends, and now we're moving into progressively singleness and dating. And with that, we're going to start with first takes. First question.
Here we go.
Going in the hot seat for sure. Explain singleness in 3 words.
You want to go first?
You go
And
first.
I am
Okay.
intentionally not thinking of what that is. Go ahead.
3 words. Awkward,
Oh, nice.
exciting,
Hot start.
and uncertain.
Okay.
Ooh,
Period.
Solid.
That was good.
That was solid. That was
Solid.
Top that.
Thanks.
good. Game on.
I would say independence.
I thought that word too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joyful. Frustrating.
Okay. Good answer. Good
Like
answer.
my family feud right now.
We try to get to that every time. It's so fun. All right. Very good. That was good. Next. Funniest dating moments.
The first one that went to my mind, and this will get a little bit into our story of dating, but our second date, I met Alisa in OKC, and right before the date starts, she texts me and says, "Hey, I have a gift for you." Mind you, I've only met this girl once, and I'm like, what is she going to give me?
Okay.
And I'm thinking
Psycho.
friendship bracelet, scrapbook of things she's stolen off the internet. I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like,
Pictures of you that she didn't know.
like just like me and her, she's cropped together. It's just the most cringiest things ever. And I'm just like panicking outside this restaurant.
Don't do it.
And then she comes out with a bag of sourdough, and I'm like, never mind. This is the
Let's
greatest thing
go.
ever. And so,
Sealed the deal.
I just the internal struggle in my brain, I find hilarious looking back on that. So,
Sweating bullets. It was kind of like all on that almost.
100%.
It was strategic on my part.
I was all thinking,
Well
like, how am I
done.
going to get out of this date as soon as possible?
Sourdough. Okay. I like that.
This one's like it was just awkward. I went on a date with a guy like twice, and I just didn't feel like it was going anywhere. And so instead
I've
of
been there.
like agreeing to a third date where I was like, hey, well, I'm not interested, I just had a really thoughtful text that I sent, and then this individual sent me back like feedback on how I should maybe not approach that in that way. And so me and my
Feedback.
girlfriends had a good fun time after that.
Look, you didn't even.
Feedback. Thank you,
You didn't
chat.
have a
yeah,
funny
it was
moment.
like,
Thanks, bro.
and that's on to the next. Okay.
Maybe that'll come up later. Proper ways to dispose of dating relationships.
That's so funny.
All right, that's fair. You know what?
No, funniest. I can't even think. Funniest dating moment. I was trying to remember what the question was.
I'll say
You
one
go
just
ahead.
because Tawny will hope that I do. We yeah, because it's on me.
Tony will hope that I do. Okay, go ahead.
So we'll start here. When we first met, she was like, "Want to watch a movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I take off, and on the way, I'm like, "I don't even know where she lives." So I pull up. She lives with her parents, and I did not know. So I was meeting the parents on the first date, which ended up being great. Like, it was good, but didn't know. So the nerves went way up after I was already pretty anxious. So then after that, I'm pretty awkward. We didn't talk much after, but I was definitely excited about her, and was looking forward to where it was going. I worked at the bookstore at the time.
I know this. I know this story from Tony's side.
She was coming in to get her books or whatever, and I'm in the back, and I see her, and I knew I hadn't contacted her in a couple days. Yeah. And so
No.
I really had some pretty strong feelings for her, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with that because it kind of surprised me. And so I booked it to the back because I was just unsure of what to do.
And she was like,
And
"He's running away from me."
She definitely caught me, and I didn't think she did. And so that was a great start.
It's awesome, actually.
Our
Good
courting,
times.
dating, relationship.
And look at you now.
Look at us now.
Yeah.
We made it. All right,
Running
last
start.
one. Who made the first move?
Again, I think the sourdough was the first move.
I
think she's
strong
she's
play.
very much like, I'm going to bake for you. And I was like, you got me.
That's a strong play.
So I think Alyssa did.
I'll second that. I actually think I can get behind that.
Okay.
I can get
Agreed.
behind that.
We agreed. Yeah.
Yep.
Well done.
Yep.
I was on the
start.
fence.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Very good.
He took some convincing.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, kind of with that, you've kind of started, but share with us kind of the story of you guys and kind of where you were before you guys met, into dating, and like I said, we've heard some things, and even into your engagement, where you're at now.
Yeah, cool.
You go first.
First off, how long have you been married?
We've been married
8.
almost 8 months.
8 months.
8 months. So we caught a couple fresh into marriage. So singleness and dating is probably the most fresh in their minds
Yeah, for
of
sure.
a lot of people in our church. But that's kind of where we're headed. Sorry. Go ahead.
So before I met Will, I lived in Oklahoma City, and I was just living and working up there. Had a small group of girls that I hosted and mentored and discipled, and was just loving life. I went on a trip to Greece and Italy, and I came back, and I had been single for probably a year and a half at this point. I'd gone on a few dates here and there, but nothing anything crazy. And so I'd gone on this trip, and when I came back, I was seriously contemplating, like, I think I might quit my job and I might go overseas on mission and like seriously considering that. I just had a moment while I was over there where I just felt like maybe it was time for something new. And I got back, and my old youth pastor, Russell Boone, he's actually from Durant.
RDB.
Yes. He texted and was like, "Hey, I've got this guy. Would you be interested in a setup date?" And I was like, "That's crazy. Sure, why not? I'll never say no to a setup date from someone that I love and trust. Like, that's great."
I did.
And he did, yeah. And then a couple days went by, and Hannah Searles texted and was like, "Hey, I've got this guy, and I really, really think you guys should go on a date." And I was like, what is going on here? And I was like, sure, why not? I was also being mentored by a friend at the time, and she was a little bit older than me, and she also had a friend, and she was like, "Hey, I've got this guy." So that's 3 guys in a span of like 1 week. And then I had a good friend that had like asked me out. And it was just bizarre because I was considering moving overseas. I was like, all right, I feel like the Lord's calling me to do this. And then this happened, and I was like, what is going on? And so the week of all of the dates, I went on 3 dates. Will was my 3rd date that week.
That is
Whoa,
so funny.
that is crazy.
It was
Whoa.
insane. It was literally insane. And I had all my
dating show. For
Oh,
real.
I'm telling you, man, I didn't even know it.
Set up.
yeah, and it was
I
wild.
was on the block. I didn't know.
You were. But he was the 3rd date, and I canceled the 4th date and the follow-up date that I had scheduled with the other guy. He was it.
Take that, whoever those guys are.
That is so funny. Wow,
It
what a
was
story.
wild.
That is cool.
It truly was wild.
But
Yeah.
and I guess I'll follow up there. Where I was at, I was just in Durant. I've been here for since 2018.
Huh,
Right?
It's crazy.
I've been here in the Shady 580, and what I was doing before I met Alisa, just doing BCM work, trying to administer to college students here in Durant, living in the same college house I lived in all throughout college. You know, just nothing crazy. Was going to seminary, trying to decide where the Lord was going to place me, and Hannah Searles has been also trying to get me to go on a date with Alisa for over a year. But Hannah never told me who she was or what she looked like or any of the things.
tough.
She didn't need to.
And I've been on dates before and people are like, they're great. And I get there, I'm like, we have nothing in common. And so it's like
So what I'm hearing is that
Will
Will
has a
just sabotaged himself for a full
For a
year.
full
That's
year,
really,
straight
truly
up.
crazy, Will.
You didn't have to be on that game show.
Yeah, I didn't have to be.
That's
I
crazy,
did
Will.
not have to be on the game show. I could have been the only player. But
That's true.
doesn't matter. I still won.
that's right. That's
but yeah, so I waited like a year, and then finally one night, randomly at my house, trying to last minute finish a life group lesson, and Hannah sends me a text message with her picture and like, "Hey, here's her number. You should ask her out." And then I just leave her on red for like hours. I get a call from Dustin. "Hey, my wife is losing her mind.
discipleship.
What you gonna do?" And I was like, "Well, I guess I'll text her." Okay. And again, I wasn't looking for a relationship. I was content kind of where I was and wasn't running from one, but I just wasn't looking for one. And so I agreed to go on a date. Took her to Hot Shots because everyone goes to Opera House. I couldn't have that rumor starting to spread.
That is so real.
All of our community. As you can tell, all of us are rocking the.
I love them both.
They're both good. But like more people I know are going to be
Opera
at
House
Opera
right
House.
next to the church.
Yeah, 100%.
Everyone's just
right.
Took her to Hot Shots, and right off the bat, we hit it off, and so that was kind of the initial where I was at and how we connected. Yeah.
And we kind of mentioned it early, but how long did you guys date?
Yeah, we dated for about 5 months, right? And so dating looked a lot like Alisa was in OKC. She's from Tish originally.
He was the riskiest move for sure, because I had a whole life in OKC, and I was like, if this goes well, I'm uprooting my life. That's insane.
Coming back home, close to family, all the things.
Yeah.
And so dating looked a lot like a lot of time on the road. I was currently driving a 1998 Honda Accord that I bought real cheap after my car got wrecked. Yeah.
R.I.P. the Subaru.
Yeah, the Subaru.
R.I.P. Subaru.
Yeah, man.
Flip on the reins.
So I bought that car, and it was just like a temporary drive around town. The next thing you know, I'm making trips to OKC in it, and then over to Tish to hang out. So dating was a lot of travel back and forth, whenever we could get the weekends, Alyssa's coming home, staying with her folks, so we could do some stuff, and then on weekends trying to go visit each other's family to figure things out, see how we connected with each other's family, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of communication.
Yeah,
a lot of
communication.
Yeah. Early on too, we had really long conversations up front, just about hard stuff, just about life stuff.
And then how long were you engaged?
About the same amount of time.
Yeah, 6 months.
In between dating and engagement was 11 months. So one was 5, one was 6 there. So about 11 months from the time we met to the time we got married.
Very cool.
All right. Awesome.
It was really cool to hear. This is rolling into the next question. But both of you were mentioning that was so weird. I hope we got that on camera. Did you see that?
No, what was it?
Y'all did a simultaneous scratch.
Did we really? Wow, look at that.
I was trying to look at my outline.
That was awesome.
Play it back.
Sorry, that threw me.
Sync.
That's cool. Both of you mentioned mentoring, discipling people. You weren't... Anyways, both of you had your hand to the plow working, and obviously both have a relationship with the Lord that was obviously vibrant. You were pouring into other people, and it's just really cool to hear that that's what you were doing. You said a year and a half you'd been single, and I don't know, for a while maybe.
A while. I don't know when the last time. My dating experience in college at least was very sporadic. Dated someone for a little bit, and then pretty long stretch. Dated somebody pretty long stretch, and so not a whole lot of dates. Not I was pretty content where I was throughout college, and then when it came my way, I would pursue that, I guess, to some degree, and then if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, and I was cool where I was.
Yeah, and even more so, point being, you guys were so focused on your relationship with the Lord where He was leading you and investing in other people. You weren't fixated on yourself and I gotta figure out this and who I'm gonna date here, and you weren't trying to line out your own life.
Yeah,
you're obviously letting the Lord lead in the way those dates lined up, and people trying to get you to go ahead with the Lord's plan earlier. Well, we won't bring it up again. But you know what I'm saying?
Searles, this is for you.
That's so encouraging. So in singleness, how do you feel and y'all already explained some of this, but how do you feel the Lord used your singleness to, I don't know, how do you think He used your singleness? Maybe that's the best way to ask.
Yeah. Sure, I'll go first. Again, I think a lot of people come from a place of discontentment in singleness. Man, I really want to be married. I really want to find that person. And that wasn't necessarily a big struggle for me. Don't get me wrong. There was definitely times of loneliness and man, it'd be really nice to have somebody to walk through this with, hard times, different things like that. But overall, I was pretty content where I was. And man, the Lord used that to grow me a lot. Because, again, my focus was, on Him. I saw that, He was... Again, He's always our primary goal, to know Him, to enjoy Him, to glorify Him, always our primary goal. But Paul talks about in Corinthians that, once you become betrothed or become married, your mind gets caught up in worldly things of, okay, got to pay the bills, you got to put a roof over your head, you got to provide for the kids, all those things. And I just didn't have that. And so I got to grow some deep roots early on, without good distractions, I guess. I don't want to say they're bad distractions, right?
Yeah.
Good distractions. And it gave me opportunity. Like, I spent 2 summers overseas with the BCM on mission trips to Kyrgyzstan and India, and like really good for my growth and really good for me to see what the Lord is doing in our world for redemption. And so, like, if I got married really young, that just wouldn't have happened. Like, if I got married, which we're not old, but, you know, if I got married at like 19 or 20, like, that still just probably wouldn't have happened. And so, like, the Lord used it to sanctify me, to reorient my worldview, like, all those kinds of things. That's some freedom that you don't have in marriage that was really helpful for my spiritual development.
That's cool.
That's good.
It's really helpful.
I was kind of opposite in the fact that every other relationship I'd ever had was super serious. So, like, in high school and college, I dated the same guy. So, like, 5.5 years. So it was super serious. And it just... It just clouded everything, and the term "love is blind" is so true. And so I just wasn't seeing. I just wasn't
not in that way, but yes, I hear what you're saying because it's so true.
Yes,
like it absolutely is true.
Yeah, I was just ignoring so many things that the Lord could have been doing in my life, and so there were moments after I did get out of that relationship where I was frustrated and I was confused and I was so jealous at times of just seeing where other girls were at in life, and I just felt behind. And so there were some really low valleys, I think, in my singleness of just questioning why God had me there. And my favorite book that I read during that, like, really deep valley was Habakkuk, and his name in Hebrew literally means to wrestle. And so that whole book is about him wrestling with the Lord, and wrestling is an intimate thing. You have to be close to the other person to be doing that. And so whenever the light bulb clicked of, like, I am so close to the Lord in this valley because I am wrestling with him, and he doesn't discourage that from us. I also really struggled with, like, once I'm content, it'll happen. Once I'm content, I'll have the husband I need. And you can't force contentment. You can't do that. The Lord never requires that of us. And so it was a journey for sure, but the Lord was so patient with me in that season of singleness, and then just navigating bad dating experiences and all of that. And so it's really cool to see how his timing is so perfect. But singleness was a crazy journey and a ride for me.
I was thinking, like, while you're talking, I do feel like sometimes, like, I was also in a long-term relationship before I met my husband. And I feel like after that, it felt like a ginormous waste of my time. And that's just not true because of the way the Lord used it. And I know it can feel like that, though, sometimes, like when you're in, like, the singleness, or you're, like, behind, like you said, behind everyone, or not necessarily that, but, like, I think in your head you're like, well, I could have been spending this time meeting the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with, which is just, I mean, I obviously met the person I was spending the rest of my life with on the Lord's timeline. So it just wasn't about my own timeline, which I think is tough sometimes when you're in it.
Yeah.
Like, you can look, hindsight is so 2020. Like, you can look back and be like, I don't know. I feel like for me, one of the cool things about singleness, it's a far reach back, guys. So I'm not as far as Garrett, but it's still far.
That's why I need y'all to remind me.
I'm thinking about, like, the thing that I think about the most. I know there's probably a zillion other things, and like I said, I don't remember it as much as I probably could. But like, friendship during that time is so different. Like, I experienced, like, just like, I lived with my best friend, and I'm, like, never live my best friend again, which is fine because my best friend is Cole, but you know what I mean? My girl best friend. Like, it was like girlhood. Like, I was really experiencing girlhood and singleness. And that's what I always try to tell people now, like, who are dating or who are single. It's like, enjoy your girlfriends or your bros or whatever y'all do. I'm like, just enjoy that because, like, not that it's, like, you know, like, I love living with my husband. Obviously, I wouldn't trade it for the world, but, like, there's just something about that time that's so special special that you like don't get back. And so like that's always when I think about singleness, or when people ask me, I'm like, just try. I know it's hard when you're dating someone because you like want to spend all your time with them, but like just try to enjoy that, because like my best friend lives 4 hours away now, and we're literally planning a weekend in February for us to meet in OKC and stay the night at a hotel together to have one night to hang out. And like we used to live together. We actually slept in the same bed. Like we shared a room and everything. I'm like, man. Yeah. Anyways, I feel like that's just something that singleness provides for believers to like.
Your one girl night out, you're trying to relive all those.
You gotta catch up.
I was literally having a conversation today. I got lunch with some guys, and last Snowmageddon last year, not this year, I stayed at their house and like just stayed the whole weekend. And, like we roamed around Durant, and I was like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad to be married and to be with my wife, but there's a layer of me that misses like that camaraderie that we had, like just staying up way too late, playing games, like all the stuff.
Cole literally lived with 5 other guys, and like they had a blast all the time. They had an absolute hoot and a half. So
going
I know
to their house was an adventure. Like, what is going on here? There would be stuff on the like a board and like. I will say
he lived with Cameron. Cameron like was trying. He's like a big planner guy. He was trying to reel everyone in. He would like write things, like have rules.
Yeah, usually
like,
an argument going on when I walked in.
Awesome, but yeah, it was a crazy time. Anyways,
about something funny, but yeah. How cool is it that God creates these seasons to be sweet, uniquely, so different, but so important and special. I mean, even like. Some of those relationships we have with friends help to build and prepare us for marriage in a way. Learning to communicate, learning to
roommates
have conflict. For sure. To walk through a lot of that is part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people who didn't ever live with anyone else before getting married. Like they lived with their parents, obviously, but they like moved from their parents' house to being married, and that's its own unique thing. And I'm sure it's totally fine. But I just like I can't imagine that because like I had so many roommates before Cole that I was like, it's totally different. But it's also like another roommate. Like you still, I mean, you're still learning to live together compatibly, and I feel like that experience helped practically.
I joke all the time. My roommate before I married Will, she loved to keep the house like 65 degrees and I freeze. And I was like,
it's cold here right now.
She has to be preparing me for something. And then I married Will, and this man same way. And I'm like shivering all the time.
It's the little things, you know?
It's the little things.
Yeah, to experience having a roommate and, you know, getting to that point where you're like, why are you this way? But that's such a good process of being like, oh, it's the way you grew up. Like as you learn more about them, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the way you grew up. These are why these things are. I had a roommate who was one of 12 kids, and most of them were adopted. And so there were things that I got to learn about him in that process that grew my worldview, like you said, even, but grew my worldview just in my house.
Yeah,
by getting to know people. So it's such a sweet moment we don't want to overlook or hurry, because God uses those. I think like flexibility. Like the freedoms that you have and the flexibility you have in your singleness, your availability. I know there were things and people I would interact with or help that I had the time for. Just my capacity to be in different places and help.
It's crazy how your capacity changes. Like each single little step of your life. It's like I was like, man, it's just you don't know until you don't know. But I was like, man, I'm so free. And then I got married and I was like, it changed, and then I was like, and then we had kids, and I was like, no, really? It changed. Then I had a second kid, and I was like, okay, hold up, because it's so true. Like you just don't know until you're in like that next step.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just choked on that realness. Sorry, my bad.
Hey, it was you instead of me.
I
thought it was going to be me choking. The flexibility really does. It's so true. Like when you're single, like you're not thinking about another person, so. It affect like your ministry is different. The way you like invest in people and hang out with people and do things is just different than whenever you are considering another person, and then that's different than whenever you have kids and you're considering them. Like it's all just like Garrett said, it's a season.
Compromise as you change, not necessarily you're giving something up, but you're trading it for something else.
Yeah.
Right? So it definitely is a different dynamic. And I'm very wired to go do all these things, and mainly because like. My family had her family has a small business too, but like ours is so sporadic from different stuff. So like when I worked at my parents' store, like one day I'd be like at the store, next time I'm going to get product. Next day, I'm going to do payroll. The next day, I'm doing this, and like and all sometimes in the same day. And so like, it's hard for me to stay on the same thing for a long period of time.
Yeah.
That's not the way she's wired.
Yeah.
So it's
Different.
it's an adjustment for sure.
I will say too, like going back to the flexibility of things, like Will and I have had multiple discussions of like when I moved here, things were so different because when I was in the city, I was mentoring and discipling these girls and I'd host them in my home and I could meet with 8 girls and disciple them and it was no issue. Like I had the capacity for that. And then I moved here and I started trying to do the same thing and I was like, I'm going to lose my mind. What is going on? And Will was like, you're not in the same stage of life anymore. Like you just don't have that ability or capacity anymore. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
But it's also, there's such sweetness in each of those seasons. Like I can look back at that with fondness, but also see how the Lord is using that in this moment too. So
yeah, so that's a great transition. As far as, singleness, you have this freedom and flexibility, and then all of a sudden you hone in on one person, you're like, oh, okay, this is getting real. And this is someone that God may be pointing to spend the rest of my life with. So there's this kind of growth adjustment period called dating, I feel like. And so all of a sudden you're introducing this new person with all their stuff and their schedule and their unique habits and personality quirks and things like that. And then all the great things about them as well, that you're overly excited and ready to get married at the same time. So what was dating like for you guys, and what was that growth period like for you?
I went first last time.
I feel like dating was fast and furious for us, for sure. But we were super intentional with our time. We talked so much. There was a stretch there where we were talking like for 6+ hours on the phone, which is insane. Insane behavior. This was like in the middle.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You need to know stuff.
But like I would work a normal like 9-to-5 job, and then he's got BCM schedule, and I was in the city, and so we just had to be extremely intentional with our time. So when we did talk, we were just very focused on like, all right, what are these values that you have? Like really getting to the bottom of like what makes you tick, like what who are you? So we just had to be, I think, extra intentional with that time. So that's how I would summarize, I think, our dating experience for the most part. And he mentioned this earlier of just like, we value time with our family so much. We both do. We both have great families that are supportive and involved in our lives. And so we also carved out specific time to go and spend time with them. Another thing that we identified early on was like we needed to invite people in early. And maybe this was through like previous dating experiences, but we both knew that we wanted to invite others in to see things that maybe we weren't seeing about each other and really be strategic in who we were inviting in. And so we spent a lot of time with my girlfriends, and I have vivid memories of Will driving all the way up to the city, and I cooked dinner, and there were 6 girls in my home, and they just literally interrogated him for an hour and a half. And but it was just so cool to see like their perspective of him, and kind of gave their thumbs up, their approval. But
yeah, and again, to piggyback off some of those things, it's like first date, I asked some pretty intentional questions. Like a lot of people, we just want to like chat it up. But my personal opinion, like when in dating, and I just from experience, that's another thing that helped us. Like we'd been through the dating pool at this point. It was like I kind of had a mindset of where we were going, and I'm very much of the opinion like get a couple non-negotiables out front, because then like you don't let those heart ties mend together, and then you don't want kids, and then you get 6 months down the road and it's like, I can't continue with you, but you've already mended all these things together, and then you have to rip them apart. And then that's when you have these like horrible breakups. And like, I came to grips with, I'm going to ask some of these up front, and I'm not saying you ask all of them and like it's an interrogation up front, but like the testimony question, like tell me your story about faith. Like tell me, because when we think about dating, like as a Christian, to some degree, like the horizon has to be marriage, right? Like if you're dating without some essence of thinking about that, as a Christian, you're going to fail. You're going to go down the wrong path. You're going to struggle with the wrong things. And so just thinking through those help be safe from like that heartache down the road, right? And I've always viewed dating, and I heard this from somebody a long time ago, of like dating's this weird interview that you have. Like you have a job that you like, you get the freedom you have, all those different things. You have a job that you want where you get the closeness of somebody, you get a bit of life together. Then you have this weird interview process where it's like, do you have what I want? Do I have what you want? But we don't get to enjoy all the things that this job has, but I can't fully enjoy the things that my current job has because I'm engaged in this. And it's just awkward and tough, and I think every form of dating is that way, no matter how smooth it goes or how good it goes. But we try to be really intentional and ask those questions up front so we didn't have to like have that heartache. And thankfully, like those lined up really well out the gate. And again, talking about the family thing, family's not a deal breaker all the time, right? Like you're marrying a person, right? Because we all come from different backgrounds, and my family's got plenty of problems, and I'm thankful for the grace that they are. But there's lots of things I do not want to be like with my family, but a lot of things I do want to be like, right? But up front, we want to know what we're getting into, right? No matter what it was, it was like, I think that's a great advice for people of like, hey, get to know the person you're loving, their family, right? Regardless of who they are. It's not a deal breaker if they're the worst or the best, right? It's like, get to know them though. And so we were trying to be really intentional about that. Plenty of our hiccups along the way, right? But, and we want to bring people in. Like we wanted accountability, we wanted wisdom, we wanted all those kinds of things in dating. And so but again, we were like fast and furious. We were like, if this is it, like why wait? And that was kind of our mentality.
That's good. You have something? I feel like you're about to say
No, I was just
She's
thinking
like-
about dating, bro. I've been
Pause.
stewing on dating over here.
It's all coming back.
Cut this
isn't it?
out if it's just kidding. I hated dating. I'm just gonna put it out there. And
There's
you
a
know
reason
what?
why we got
Maybe
married so fast.
here's the thing.
We all
Maybe
felt
I am having like a skewed memory of it because, like I said, it's been a while. But like I just remember not being a fan of it at all. One reason is because I had that long-term relationship prior, and I did go through a heartbreak, and that was the worst
For
thing
sure.
ever. Like it was so bad, and I just remember like. I don't know. Like you said, it's like an interview, and it's like for me, like it was just like so hard not to feel insecure because there's
After a
really
bad
no
experience.
security.
After a bad experience,
after a bad
especially.
experience, which I mean, like it's just like it's hard to feel secure because you're not secure. Period.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
So that, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, especially like as a Christian, like I know that like if, you know, like marriage is the only time where it's like there's a covenant there. Like before marriage, it's like, you know, anything, it's like, okay, well, I'm good, I'm out. That was really scary for me because like I am just like a feeler, and I'd be getting my feelings hurt. And so I don't know. I just remember being like, man, this could not be over soon enough because like I just did not like that like limbo in between phase where it's like, is he gonna like me enough? Like, am I what he's looking for? Like, and asking all those questions and getting to know each other, and like you do put yourself out there. It is a risk. It is a risk. Dating is a risk at the end of the day. And I knew that from experiencing like a horrible breakup. And so I was like, I cannot go through this again. I literally remember praying to the Lord. I was like, please. I remember being like, I need you to either, this is going to sound so crazy. Cole's going to be listening to this. He's like, what is happening?
All around this
Now he
episode.
knows the story, but I don't know if he's going to leave this in. I remember at one point, me and Cole were like we were trying to figure some stuff out. He was trying to figure out if he loved me. It was this whole thing. It's what you're trying to do when you're dating.
Absolutely.
But I remember being like, Lord, please you can either let this be the person that I'm going to marry, like, or save the guy that I broke up with before this, because I cannot get to know someone else. Like, I know that sounds
that's
crazy,
so funny, actually.
but like, and that's not the only
redeem
reason. I
that,
mean, like,
dude.
obviously, I'm like, or put him back in my life somehow. Like I just can't just getting to know someone
it's so much
and
work.
putting yourself out there is like so much. So I don't know. I am encouraged by hearing y'all's story because it seems like, you know, it was a
We didn't do it
good
perfectly.
experience.
No,
And of
no.
course no one does it perfectly. But it sounds like a better experience. Like, I don't know, just my inner turmoil was just like so
and
So strong.
in there
we were just
during that
thankful
time.
like we're wired enough the same, and it just happened we came from the same cultural background that we clicked
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
But we were very much of like, and I'm just of this mentality to some degree. It's like, if you're both able to get married and you want to get married, like, why wait? Like, just full
Me and
send it.
Cole
Like,
also were still in college when we started dating.
we were
I don't know,
graduated.
it's just so much younger.
There's so many different layers. Like, we're not saying that, like, just because we did it is the way to do it, but for us, where we were in stage of life, it just made a lot of sense.
No, I think that's awesome. I really do.
Yeah.
No, serious bullet points right there that I'm taking away and trying to size it up with where I was. Intentionality needs to drive everything. I think that's really good that you said that, and not emotions.
Yeah.
Those, man, when you break it down, those are the two things that are
it's
battling.
Like,
so bad.
In college ministry, what I do, like, I see a lot of bad relationships because emotions are the driving factor, right? It's
exactly.
like they're informed by feelings rather than facts. And it's like, that's why I tell college students the same thing that I tried to practice when me and Alyssa were dating. It's like, I want to get a couple non-negotiables off the table, like, up front. Because it's like, if we don't agree on this, then I can politely go, hey, love the time, like getting to know you, but I'm not going to do a second date. And nobody's heart is broken, right? And you just don't see that a whole lot. We see the emotions fly first, and then all the other ones come
it's
second.
It's the human experience. I feel like it's hard, but it is, like you said, it's easier if you're intentional.
Yeah, there's guardrails and stuff you can build in early with those non-negotiables, and then that accountability you mentioned, like all right, I need some safeguards, I need people around us to help us stay focused on what we should be focused on. But yeah, intent over emotion is huge.
I think so.
And in all circumstances, thinking about singleness, even in that wrestle, God's going to win, and he's going to prove, like, I'm the point. I'm the point of your singleness.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm the point of your life, but I'm the point of your singleness. And when we're dating, he makes it clear, like, oh, this is the one. It feels like a race to get to know as much as you can about them until the day you get married. And you're like, let's get it in. But even then, he's the point.
Yeah,
I'm the point of this. What's going on right here? And then even in marriage, I mean, so he's the driving factor for all of it ultimately.
I was going to add too, I think I'm wired the way you are, Sarah, and like, I just put so much pressure on any date I ever went on. And I finally had a friend one time that was like, Alyssa, at the end of the day, if it's a setup, if it's someone you meet online, whoever it is, you're meeting someone new. And this person was created in the image of God. And at the end of the day, there is no pressure on you to have to spend the rest of your life with this person. And that shift in my thinking changed the dating game forever for me. And so I didn't hate it as much. It still was awkward and terrible. And every time I went, I was like, gosh, okay. All right, here we go again. But it truly lifted, I think, a weight off of me too. And an unnecessary pressure of like, society tells us we have to figure this out, but the Lord ultimately, his will is going to prevail. So it's not on my shoulders to have to figure that out. Yeah. You're meeting someone new. And I would just encourage anyone that's in that season of like, gosh, this is the worst, of just maybe reframing your thoughts a little bit of like, hey, you're meeting someone new, and it doesn't have to be as scary and as daunting as we're making it.
Yeah. And honestly, dating, I guess I'm more talking about like the part where you get to a point
someone
where you love someone and you're like, am I going to spend the rest of my life with this person? I hope, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And trusting the Lord in that, but it's also difficult because you've put so much stock in it, which it was also like, I think, like I was Cole's first girlfriend, so I could have used those wise words you just said then, because that felt like a lot of pressure a little bit, like not in a bad way necessarily, but also like, I just like, I don't want to, like, if this doesn't work, it was just like a whole thing, which I think like at the end of the day, obviously, like the Lord, like you said, the Lord's will is done, and like he obviously led us to where we are, so it just happens differently for everyone, and it can be very scary.
Yes,
for sure. Absolutely.
But also at the end of the day, like you said, like it's not really on us all. Like he is the driving factor, so that's comforting.
And we're dancing around it, but the question would be for those that are truly listening intently right now. How do you know that this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with? And I think that's probably different for everyone in the same and all at the same time. But someone wondering that, how would you encourage them in that? Like, how did you know?
Yeah.
I knew after the first date, and that sounds insane. But I had been on so many dates, or I had been in previous relationships where I just knew what I was looking for in a partner. And Will's just intentionality to literally ask me who I was, how God had redeemed me right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I was like, this man is bold. He is so bold for the Lord. And it was attractive. It was also just like a moment of there was security there,
Yeah.
even in a situation where there shouldn't have been security. Like, it was a first date with a blind setup date, literally. But even in those moments of like, this is crazy, but I shared things in my testimony that I had never really shared with others before either.
Because you felt safe.
Because I felt
That's
safe.
cool.
And I walked away from that date feeling more confident in myself too than I had ever felt before after leaving a date. And that, for me, I was like, this is weird. It's so strange. I've never left a date feeling this confident in myself and who God has created me to be. And so it was quick for me. I went to my parents and was like, this is going to sound wild, but this went really, really well. So I walked away very confident in the direction it was going. And of course, we didn't know all the answers or how quickly that was going to happen. But his boldness for the Lord truly was like, okay, this is a safe space.
Cool.
I'm going to lay it out here. And the way he received that was super, super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Will.
I don't know
Winners
if I
win.
followed
Top
that, but
Winners
again,
win.
as this process went, I was a little more on the fence than Alyssa out the gate, from the get-go, from the avoiding for a year to this, but I'm definitely out the gate.
I'm stressed.
Definitely out the gate when
She's always stressed. They're married. Don't worry.
Spoiler alert on the ending.
we made it. Point being, like, day one, I had a great time, like, and from the jump, like, I felt this like deep-seated like love for the Lord from her. Like, there was no question about that. But as we progressed in like dating, there was just this sense, as we talked and we shared bits and pieces about us, like there was this sense of like trust that she had in me that I had not seen previously in other relationships. Like, she saw who I was. Some of my faults, because I just let those be out the gate initially, you know what I mean? Like, and like there was genuine belief and trust in me. And as I was processing through these things, thinking through like, can I love this girl sacrificially for the rest of my life?
That's good.
And I just kept thinking through it, and I was like, yeah, I think I can, and I want to. Not only do I think I can, but I think I want to love her sacrificially for the rest of my life, like put her first. And I didn't always feel that way in relationships before. Like, genuinely, there's some girls I dated, I was like, this isn't working for me to the degree, like, in the deepest parts of me, I want to put you before me. And obviously that was out of a place of sin, but also I think it was out of a place of, like, I'm not supposed to be with you. Yeah. Right? And so, like, once that conclusion clicked in my mind, it was like, I can sacrificially love you for the rest of my life. It was like a no-brainer for me. It was like, it came down to there, like, you've said these things to me, I need time to see that your words match your actions, as well as my words match my actions for you. And I also would like to get to know your family and like get a wider range of like who you are before I pop the question. But like, from this, if everything lines up for what we're saying and what we're conveying, like, I'm gonna marry you. Like, that was from that point forward. Yeah,
I think for both of us, there was like no convincing. Neither one of us had to convince ourselves that,
or convince the other,
this
is what has to
happening.
happen. It was like, internally, both of us were like, this is it. But we just need some time under pressure to make sure all the things line up the way they're supposed to line up.
Yeah, it's cool. So there's definitely God working before you met, and then God working as you met, or as you got to know each other. That's good. Anything? I love the way you're skipping tonight. Skip. I would say, let me order my thoughts here, but with Tanya and I, there was, going through trying to navigate emotions versus intentionality, which we, at the gate, we really were trying to be intentional. We dated for a long time, so emotions have a lot of time to catch up when you date for a long time. But I think we got to a point where, all right, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know me, you know pretty much everything about me that I can think of. And you've forgiven my faults.
Mm-hmm.
And you've decided you're going to love me anyways. And that looks very much like God's love for me.
Yeah.
And so I remember the night that kind of clicked. Like, okay, she knows it all and she's going to love me anyways. And she said she's going to love me. And so that was really encouraging to me. This keeps coming back to my mind, but our intentional experience was, at one point I started by asking her a question a day. And they started off real, like, toss-ups. Like, favorite color. I mean, it sounds stupid.
Nice.
But when we really first started dating, that's where we started. And then by the time we're talking engagement, it was like questions I won't bring up here. And that was the question of the day. And it was like we were grinding through it, trying to figure each other out. And if we were still going to sacrifice for each other or felt like we could for the rest of our life. And we got to that place. And, it's just, I don't know. It's not as easy to say, yeah, this is the one. But also, I did a lot of journaling. And in my journaling was a lot of just like conversation with the Lord about her.
Yeah.
Which I think is good, with the Holy Spirit's counsel and wisdom.
Absolutely.
To navigate and to even go through, Lord, forgive me when I'm not approaching this the right way, and we're not doing this the right way, and realizing like that's going to continue even in marriage. Like, Holy Spirit's going to have to guide us and lead us in treating each other the way that God intends. So it's easy in a sense to understand that, like, it's about the gospel, it's about God's love, but then also it's challenging. That's why it scares Sarah Skip just now.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, listen, I have talked so much on this podcast already. I was like, I need to take a pee.
It's going to be chopping this up. That's so good. There is so much, I think, encouraging things that you guys have said. And there's going to be those that have listened that are married, that may have been married for a while, that are, hopefully thinking fondly back on their dating days, or single, or maybe not, but thankful for where they are now. But if there is those that are single or even dating that are listening to this, in what ways might you encourage people in their singleness and dating? And I think you have in a lot of ways, but maybe even summarize if you could.
Sure.
I would say don't waste your singleness. And that sounds cliche, but truly, like, I found the most fulfillment and joy in the season of singleness whenever I was pouring into other people and I was looking for those opportunities to just be in community with other believers even. And there were times where I was frustrated and I was still confused, but there was more joy that outweighed those moments. And so I would say just don't waste that season, because like we've talked about, like, you lose some flexibility, you lose some independence, and there's great things that come with dating and marriage, but singleness can be such a sweet season, but you have to choose to make it that way. Truly, you have to see the good. You have to see the good in that moment. And so I think that'd be the biggest piece of encouragement. And have good friends that just love you and want to encourage you. If you have someone that is like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to start dating? That just, it's not helpful. So surround yourself with people that are either in similar stages of life or are in stages of life where you want to be, that are encouraging in that season. So that was where I grew the most, I think, just in that stage of my life. So that's, in summary, I guess, what I'd say.
Yeah. The question is encouraging singles, right?
Or people who are dating.
Okay. Yeah. Just in singleness too, like going back to whether you really want to be married or whether you're cool being single, like use it for the kingdom of God. Yeah. Right. I had to come to a conclusion when I was in college. Like the only thing that I worked for that would truly last was for the kingdom of God. Everything else would perish, would wither, would rust, like all of it. And like just use it for the kingdom, whether it be mission trips, whether it be serving in your church, whether it be sharing the gospel in your workplace. Like look to the kingdom things, because once you are married, that will diminish to some degree. Like just truly, it sounds like I'm not being very Christian or spiritual when I say that, but it's just the truth. Like you have to think about other things. Paul is clear about that in his writings, but use it for the kingdom. Go on those trips. Like, show up and serve in every capacity you can, because you will miss it to some degree. And like, we've only been married like 7-8 months, but like, there's some things like, I know that that's not going to be a possibility for me anymore, and that's not bad, but I will miss it. And so use your time for the kingdom, right? Yeah. And grow yourself, because most likely you will be married. The majority of people are married. Look towards it. Like, I remember when I was single, like, I read some marriage books. Like, I wasn't dating anybody, but they were recommended to me. I read them, and I found a lot of great wisdom, and I think it helped save me a little bit of heartache coming like when I started dating. Like, invest in yourself spiritually. Like, obviously have your quiet time, but soak up as much theological and wisdom from elder people as you possibly can, from any source you can get it that is sound. Like, be intentional about it, because your time will slip through your fingers faster than you think it will.
Yeah, and I like what y'all said earlier. I want to add, just in this portion of like the encouragement, about just bringing people in, because we said singleness a little bit, but also in your dating relationship, about bringing people into your dating relationship, and how important I think that is, how important it was for me. I'm sure Garrett the same, but like, I think that's like a big part of knowing that's the person you want to marry, and knowing that that's what God has for you, is like having other people looking at your relationship and saying, this seems God honoring to me, or you know, like, I've talked to him or her, and people you trusting that person, and just having community. I mean, we talk about it. It's a church podcast, so we talk about community a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just think it's so important, and I think y'all have basically said this, but just in this encouragement portion, like, same thing with singleness and dating. Like, find people that you can involve in those seasons of your life, that help to encourage you regardless of how those things go or what it looks like to follow the Lord closer.
Scripture speak about, like, there's wisdom in the counsel of many. I think it's super smart.
Community, intentionality, so many good things. Anything else you want to add? I'll try to do some kind of wrap up here.
Yeah, I'm going to give a couple. I talked about singleness mostly, but let me give a couple tidbits on dating. Again, no expert, right? We made it. Praise the Lord.
Just be dating.
Like, we made it. But like,
star.
If you're an expert, if anyone's an expert at dating, I would like to just hear
Yeah,
your story.
bring them on the
Come
podcast.
on.
Yeah, come on. Anyway, if you're invited to the podcast, you're an expert in dating.
You got it. But just like we said most of these things, but like, just be intentional. Like, know that, like, you don't have to be intense. Like, don't come out the gate being crazy, but like, marriage is on the horizon for you at some degree. If you're seeking to date somebody, just be intentional about your questions, be intentional about where you're headed, and be honest too. Like, don't create a facade in dating to make somebody love you, because that will fail so fast. And so, like, be intentional, be honest, and like, bring in community. Like, those are really important things. But yeah, I think those are some of the big takeaways in dating from us, that we had some serious conversations up front, and separate those emotions and intentions at the beginning, so you know what's truth and what's not. And then as there's confidence who you're spending time with, like, let those emotions go. It's going to be good.
Yeah. I'll say too, like, we struggled through the dating phase of like, okay, we've got to start inviting more people in. We can't be alone together. We need to go out in public, like, just for accountability purposes, temptation. Like, you just have got to realize you're not any better than the next person in resisting temptation. You have got to just be proactive.
I know. There. We literally had I had a friend. He would drive past the house that I lived in. It was Ryan McMillan. I'll say who it was, because he knew me and Cole. We've talked about him. He's on the podcast constantly, but he lived right down the road from me and Cole. We all lived like right on Chuckwall, all of us. And he would drive by, and if it was just me and Cole there, he would text to be like,
you just honk.
Like, hey, how's it going? Just like, it just sounds like the most simple thing, but it actually is huge. And just like making sure everything's above board, and not just that, but just like, like, just making sure you're honoring the Lord with your dating relationship, which 100%. Is not easy a lot of the time. So I echo that.
As like true, like, love, like, begins to grow, other temptations grow with it. And like, no one talks about that. It's like, as you get closer to marriage, it's like, I do love you, and these God honoring things that He's wired into us become more tempting, right? And it's like we got to have the accountability in the process.
Because
it's supposed to. I mean, that's by design.
Right.
But God also teaches like the discipline and the wait.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many things in the next season in marriage where you're going to have to wait and be disciplined and God honoring through that relationship and as a husband or wife. So it's not like the person you are right now, if you are single or dating, is who you are preparing to be even after you're married. It's preparing you to be a father, a mother, a husband, a wife, and so none of that is wasted. It doesn't stop. It's all still there. So that's good. So in all these seasons, to keep God at the center of your life is the most significant, because as you learn of his sacrificial love for you, you in turn learn how to be sacrificial in your singleness, whether you're mentoring, discipling, in your dating, laying down your life and what that'll look like in the future for a husband or wife. So take all of this that you've learned, all this wisdom from the newlyweds. We're so grateful for. I'm so glad it's fresh on your mind, because God's using it to help people, and that's so good. So thank you guys for being here.
Sure.
Thank you to the listener. Now go and make disciples of all nations.